On today's episode of Moto Cheese.
What's up today, boys? Got my hands on a multi-process MIG welder, MIG, TIG, and stick and spool. This is a COP and WD-HOM, the KP-MIG 200D. Let's see what's in the box. Cartoony stickers. So it comes supplied with a 50 amp standard plug. Let's check out the front. 1 pound or 10 pound spool it'll take. Adjustable wire tension with a quick release. You have your wire feeder here. 2 different sizes. This is a 1.0 35 to 0.40 size wire, or a 0.08, 0.23, a 0.30 wire. Looks like it's lined up pretty good. Some of these less expensive ones, this wire feed mechanism ends up on a cheaper side, and we'll see how this is. So it looks like a GDSX wire feeder mechanism. So this is my workbench today, since I don't have a clear workbench. Looks like it comes with the cup, a little wrench, and a couple tips, another wire feeder. This one does not have grips, that one has grips on it. Same thing, 0.8 and 1.0. The operation manual. This does have the IGBT inverter technology. So with the IGBT technology, your efficiency is increased by 30%, and the weight is probably decreased by about that. So it looks like it is a 60% duty cycle at 200 amps on 220 volts, which isn't too bad for an economy machine. You can run this on 110 or 220 volts. Of course, if you're on 110, the maximum amperage on 110 volt would be 150 on the MIG stick and TIG. Or if you're using 220, your maximum amperage would be 200 on the MIG stick and TIG. Comes with your consumable hose, a spool of gasless wire, flux wire. You have your electrode holder, just about 8 foot long. This weighs 14 kilograms, which is about 30 pounds. Dimensions are 470 by 320 by 376 millimeter. You have your 50 amp 220 to your 120 volt if you decide to use it that way. Have at least a 20 amp circuit. We have our ground clamp and wire, also just under 8 feet. And then we have our MIG gun, which is quite a bit longer. Looks like about 10 feet. So on the front of this unit, we have our amperage and our voltage over temp light. This is the amperage, this is the voltage. This switch is for a spool gun or the TIG, stick, MIG, or lift TIG. Then you have 2T, which is squeeze the trigger to go, let go to let it go. And 4T, which is click it to run, click it to stop. Positive and negative connections. So if you want positive to go to your gun, you put it there. If you want negative to go to your gun, you put it there. When using gasless flux wire, your gun has negative and it is a positive ground. Your clamp would hook to that. If you're running with gas, your positive goes to your gun and it is negative ground. So your negative ground for solid wire, welding aluminum with the MIG gun, or welding with the stick mode. Positive ground if you're using flux cord wire, or lift TIG mode. And this controls your spool gun or your TIG gun. This is where your hose for your MIG runs. So I guess we'll hook up our wire feed for the MIG. We'll do that first. As you can see, it has the argon or argon mix hose runs through this. Your 2 electrical connections and your wire. The gun doesn't feel too bad. Seems like a decent gun. The shield cup is a pull-off style. Does look like it has a decent cable running through there to feed the wire. This does not come with a spool gun, and it does not come with a TIG torch. So we won't be able to test the TIG or the spool gun function, but we can do the flux core. We can do the gas welding, because I bought a tank and a regulator. This does not come with a flow meter either for your gas if you decide to do solid wire. So the first thing we'll do is plug it in, make sure everything works. Power switch is on the back. There's a small muffin fan for keeping all the electronics cool. That's for TIG, that's for stick. Center is MIG. So for MIG, you have to have this switch in the center, which says MIG, and then you have to have it set to gun. Now this amperage control is tied to the feed of the wire. That clicking right there is a solenoid to let the gas in, so it's instant. And then when you let off, it's got about 2 second post flow. So that's working. Looks like it might have a timer to shut down. Yep. So I bought myself some 3/4 inch galvanized pipe. I threaded a small end on here because I'm making a small tamper, lightweight, for doing those little 4-inch posts. So I'm going to clean this up and weld that on for the bigger end to tamp, and the other end has a smaller cap, so I guess we'll try that on here and see how it works. Since it's windy, we'll try the flux wire, which flux wire is positive ground and the gun will be negative, so we'll do it like that. And that. Clean this galvanized off. You don't want to smell that either when you're welding. And I am near a water hose. Let's feed this flux wire on here. Make sure this wire's perfectly straight. Start it into your hose first. Take your tip off, and then we'll run it. Looks like a nice steady feed. And there it is. Now we can put our tip back on. 030 for this, it looks like. That might be 035. Put our shield cup back on. Put this about 3. Cut the excess wire. I think I'm gonna just attack it. See if I can get that somewhat centered. Here goes. I'm going to keep these about there to start with, halfway. Don't forget your welding helmet. It's not hot until you pull the trigger, which is good. That's pretty good. That's actually doing a decent job. Consistent wire feed, consistent voltage and current. Very nice. I don't have a wire brush, so let's clean it off with the flap wheel a little bit. Turn this off. Of course, there's some contaminants on there from the galvanized. Good penetration. That's not too bad. I'm impressed for a budget welder. It's a very consistent weld. The wire feed is very consistent. The amperage is consistent. So now I got my tamper. Big end and my little end threaded on. Should I weld that end on? So we're going to hook up our 7525 argon/CO2. Picked up this flow meter from the same company. I'll put a link. It does not come with a flow meter, but it does come with the hose. And then we'll try to do a little bit of welding with some solid wire. Then I'm going to have to build a cart and keep all this stuff on there. I'm going to be doing a plasma cutter next. Bottle's full. Let's switch out our wire here. It's windy today, so it's going to kind of stink. We're doing shielded welding with the solid wire, but we'll do it anyway. We'll attempt to do it in between the wind gusts. Grinder got me, boys. The old Harbor Freight Vulcan wire. I've had some good luck with this. It's actually an 11 pound. Let's see how that works. So this has automatic tension, so you just snug that and it automatically gives you the tension you need. We're going to need a smaller tip. Bought 030. The flux wire was 035. That's what I was afraid of. I want a bird cage. And big spools usually take a little more tension, but as long as you don't bang it around, I guess it'll hold. Yeah, this wire feed doesn't have quite enough speed if you're going to try to push aluminum to weld aluminum. But the hose is actually too long anyway, so. And we're there. That's the proper tip. I don't usually tighten these up, I do them by hand. You can. I've never had one fall off. Set the flow, probably about 30. I might have to do more with this wind unless I can weld out of the wind. And turn this all the way down. Wire feed all the way down. Turn the bottle on. That looks good, about 30. Let me see if I can clean this up and I'll weld this cap on. That's one thing good about the flux wire, is you don't have to be as clean. And it doesn't matter if you're out with the wind blowing. It'd be nice to weld it right there, but I'm not going to be able to see, for you guys to see, I should say. I wear this helmet off to the side. Hope you guys could see it. I hope you guys could see that. I couldn't. Let's see if I can fill that in. I couldn't see very good. I forgot to reverse the polarity, but once I reversed the polarity, like the first few welds you can see were not that great. Let's see if I can get a nice weld from there to there. So I'm at 121 amps, 19.2 volts. Shut her off. Let's see. Don't laugh. Oh, it is windy today though. And I'm going from steel to cast iron. Yeah, that works pretty good. Didn't even get warm. Guess we should try a little stick welding now, huh? Anything else to weld on? I could weld on the other side. I'll do a little stick welding on that section. Got some 1/8 inch rod, 70/16. I haven't stick welded in many years, boys. I used to be really good at it. Gotta switch it to stick mode. We'll keep it at 128. Might have to do a little more. So let's see how we did. Yes, the stick weld's pretty good. I gotta get a little, one of those little chipper hammers, I guess. Still got a little slag in between there. That's not too bad. Oh, it's windy today. Shut her off. Put her back to MIG. I think it does pretty good. For a fairly inexpensive machine, it does an okay job. So I'll put the links in the description and everything down below if you guys are interested. Not a bad budget machine. That's what I think.
Hey, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Hit that bell if you want new notifications on new videos. Links for products used are in the description and on motocheese.com. Thanks for watching.